This second video is the first of two videos on introducing the students to the history program itself. The history program is one of several programs offered by the Department of Social Sciences, which is in the classroom building right across from 7th Street. If you come in the doors, you'll see a bunch of a wall with a bunch of windows. If you go through that door with the windows, it is the hallway on the south side of the building. There are 6 faculty members in the Department of Social Sciences, 3 of which teach history. The chair of the Department of Social Sciences is Dr. Glenn Melanson, who's a Europeanist. Brooks Flippin, or yours truly, is an Americanist, as is Corey Delashaw. Miss Delashaw is the faculty member who advises the history education program, which I'll talk about in a minute. By the way, the political science faculty are Dr. Sandra Petty and Mr. Connor Alford, and the geography faculty is Dr. Stephanie Heald. The department secretary is Karen Pruss, and that's the first office you see when you come through the glass doors in the new classroom building. All students at Southeastern are required to have 124 credit hours to graduate. Within this total are requirements for general education. Now, to fulfill this requirement, students select specific courses from 4 broad areas: communications, social and behavioral sciences, science and mathematics, and humanities. This assures that all graduates have a general academic breadth of knowledge. Now, all colleges from across the nation have some form of general education requirement, and such courses often transfer when students change colleges. If students have credit hours from a community college or another 4-year institution, the student should see his or her advisor to inquire if the previous credits will transfer, fulfilling specific aspects of Southeastern general education mandate. If a student at Southeastern has completed an associate's degree from a community college in parts of Oklahoma and North Texas, he or she may be deemed to have automatically completed all general education requirements and should see his or her advisor. Now, in addition to the number of hours in the general education requirement, students must select a major and a minor. Most majors are approximately 40 hours, as is the history major. And most minors are somewhere between about 18 and 24 hours, and with the history minor being 21 hours. Now, when taken together, the requirements for general education, the major, and the minor usually total just under the 124 credit hours necessary for university graduation. If students need additional credit hours, they can choose any course from any discipline. Now, some majors are known as major minors because they have a larger credit hour requirements and, as such, don't require the selection of a minor. History education is a major minor with a total of approximately 52 credit hours. There is no history education minor. A student may choose to double major, having completed the requirements for 2 majors and thus 124 credit hours necessary for graduation. While most students begin their Southeastern work fulfilling their general education requirements and then progress to their major and minor requirements, there is no order or sequence in which one must complete the various requirements. Outside of the exceptions noted I'll note a little bit later in regard to history education, a student may be working on the requirements for general education, the major, and the minor simultaneously. In selecting a minor, students may want to consider a discipline that complements their major. A student may choose a completely different discipline for breadth of knowledge or professional marketability. It should be added that the university also requires computer proficiency and a certain number of courses in things like liberal arts and physical ed, I guess you'd call it. Students meet these by, they can meet the computer test rather by passing a test or by taking a proficiency class early in their academic career. It's usually no problem for students today. Anyway, meeting the liberal arts requirements, the minimum number of liberal arts requirements also really isn't a problem for Southeastern students because history by definition is a liberal art, so you can fulfill that just in your major requirements. The Department of Social Sciences offers 3 majors: history, history education, which as mentioned before is a major minor, and political science. It offers 4 minors: history, political science, public administration, and geography. And as again, history education is not offered as a minor. You'll have most of your classes in the classroom building. If you have a class that's designated CB 133, it is the conference room and it's down the hallway of the social science building. So you go past the secretary's office, and it's on the left side. Now, in very general terms, universities offer two types of degrees: academic degrees and pre-professional degrees. Academic degrees are degrees that focus on skills and knowledge that are applicable to a number of possible career paths. It's broad knowledge that's useful in daily living in any number of ways. A variety of employers seek graduates with academic degrees, assuming that their hire's breadth of knowledge will make the employee more trainable and able to manage a variety of responsibilities. Academic degrees are degrees such as math, English, chemistry, biology, and history. Now, pre-professional degrees are degrees that are aimed for one specific career path, often designed to meet the specific standards of some external professional accreditation. They focus more on specific skills applicable to one or a few given jobs. Examples of pre-professional degrees are aviation, safety, and nursing, and all education degrees, including history education. All students should be careful in selecting their major. Students that are sure of their career path and have the option of taking a pre-professional degree in their specific field should do so. In some instances, completion of the degree is in itself permission to enter the guild or practice in the field. If they don't select that major, they may find themselves at a disadvantage in that profession's specific job market. Now, if, however, students are unsure of their professional ambitions and wish to keep their career paths open, they may want to consider more academic degrees. Studies indicate that the average American worker changes jobs 4 to 5 times over a lifetime, and workers may need skills and knowledge that are transferable. While pre-professional degrees may make a person more marketable in their designated field or in their initial job search, they might make the person at somewhat of a disadvantage switching outside of that individual career paths. If you want to find out what courses and what programs the university offers, you can find that, of course, on the university website, as you can anything about the university. You go to current students and you click there, and then you have a menu, and you'll find that probably the three most important things are the academic catalog, the academic calendar, and the schedule of classes. The academic catalog contains not only the number of rules and regulations the university has, but it talks about what all the courses that the university offers, and has descriptors of each course. You, of course, are not going to have every course offered every term in every department. And so if you click on the schedule of classes, what you can find is the courses that are offered in that specific term. And so there's a rotation of schedule of classes. The academic calendar is, of course, simply the dates and deadlines for that given term. Now, in the catalog and scheduled classes, each course is listed not only by its academic discipline, but by a 4-digit number. The first number is general reflection of the course's level. If a course begins with 1 or 2, it's mostly likely aimed at freshmen and sophomores and tends to be broader and more general. A course that begins with 3 or 4 is more specific and narrow. And these type of courses are generally reserved for upper level students. But as noted already, there's no specific sequence of courses in history that students must follow. And this outside of a few restrictions I'm going to talk about, students can enroll in any course for any term. Put another way, each course is self-contained. It provides all the information required and presumes no prerequisite knowledge. This stated, however, the broad background provided by surveys, these lower-level courses, never hurt students in their comprehension of the material presented in upper-level classes. For this reason, most students take the surveys early in their program. Because they are often required, departments usually offer the surveys on more than one time or day in any given term. To help the identification with such multiple classes of any one course, each class has a section number. In the schedule of classes, after every course's 4-digit number, there's a period and another number. This last number is the course section. When the course is offered only once that term, the section number is always number 1. When there are other classes at different times, however, the section number may be 2 or 3 or whatever. Sections designated by W after the period are internet classes. Such classes should not be confused with classes designated ARR, which means they're arranged classes. In the latter case, such as History 2001, the course you're presently enrolled in, the student should contact the professor immediately as the term begins. Lower level classes are often referred to as survey courses because they tend to be, as I say, broader and more general, and they offer less detail and development. They are intended for students with little background in the subject and are often the logical starting point for the study of that subject, as I just mentioned. Most surveys require some form of textbook. Now, textbooks are broad in general, kind of like the surveys themselves. They cover the breadth of the subject without a narrow focus or any attempt to tie the book together with one overriding conclusion. Now, many upper-level classes, by contrast, require books that are called monographs, and they go into more detail and tend to make more of an argument about any one subject. Now, books can be expensive. You may want to wait to buy your book after attending the first class or two. It gives you a chance to review the syllabus and make sure you still want to take the course. You can locate the book for your class online from the Southeastern Bookstore, and you can buy it from there, or perhaps you want to seek a cheaper alternative from some online retailers such as Amazon. Amazon and others often have cheaper used copies. Now, if you do this, be sure to have the correct edition in order early after the term begins. The bookstore sometimes allows book rentals and book buybacks, a book exchange, and helps with the cost. Southeastern's library has a textbook reserve program, which has a link on the library's page. It may contain a textbook you may need for a lower level course, but most likely it probably doesn't. But anyway, many students may decide to share a book with fellow students. If time for reading is allocated sufficiently at the outset, this can be a cheaper alternative. This concludes the first of the two videos introducing the students to the history program.